So I guess you can hold it. That's fine. So what we'll do is we'll have you introduce yourself. You know, what is your name?
Now?
Why not? Tell me who you are.
Okay. Well, hi, my name is Giorgio Torregrosa. I am a lifelong motorcycle rider. I began my motorcycles adventure in the island of Puerto Rico, where I grew up. I was lucky enough to have a family that was involved in motorsports. My mom raced cars, my dad raced cars. I'm the oldest of 5 boys. I started riding motorcycles in 1968. I started racing motocross in 1971 on a Yamaha Mini Enduro. I got sponsored by Honda in 1972. Raced the Dominican Republic Grand Prix in 1973. Got 3rd place in that race. I got sponsored by OSA in 1974, raced the Phantom in 74. Then I switched teams to Suzuki in 1975, where I was sponsored with a Suzuki TM100. In 1976, I was lucky enough to win the Puerto Rico National Motocross Championship on the 100cc class. And that was a year that I decided to leave the island and move to the United States with my mother, who was going to do her residency in medical school. So we moved to San Antonio, Texas. 11 days later was working at the local Honda Suzuki motorcycle shop. I was a gopher, changing tires and washing BMW motorcycles and racing motocross. So I started racing motocross in San Antonio all through high school, year and a half of aircraft maintenance.
I'm gonna ask you a question right there. I gotta jump in because that's an incredible, like, growing up. That's an incredible story. But I have to ask you, from racing motocross in Puerto Rico and then coming and racing in the mainland, what did you see? Like, what was the big difference racing there and then coming and racing here? What was your first, like, oh my?
You know, it was a lifelong dream of coming to the States. I had motorcycle action magazines and dirt bike magazine cut up, pasted all over my wall. So when the opportunity came, I was ready to go. And, you know, I thought I was a good motorcycle rider. I've been sponsored my whole life. I just won the national championship. I arrived in Texas. I lined up for my first race. I've never seen that many people in the starting gate, you know, and I got 22nd place in my first race. So it was a very rude awakening of the caliber that was in the States. You know, there was really, really good riders. It was like having to start all over again, learning and competing against much higher caliber riders, and then work your way through C class, B class, and then eventually the A class in the States. You know, which took 2 to 3 years.
But it was fun, though.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was like living in a movie. You know, it's like living on any Sunday, because all of a sudden you see 40 people lined up on the gates. You know, you see a whole bunch of people lined up, applauding and screaming around the racetrack. Where in Puerto Rico, it was more of a small hobby that the Air Force guys had a track at the Air Force place, and then the Navy guys had a track at the Navy place. So the Americans had brought the sport of motocross to the island, and I was lucky enough to start racing in the island. But yeah, getting to Texas and then to Florida, I moved to Daytona Beach in 1979. And then I raced the Daytona Beach Amateur Supercross, which I was in 3rd place and went down. They took me to the infirmary. And then I went to race the Memorial Stadium in Daytona Beach. And I did win that Supercross race. It was amateur Supercross at Memorial Stadium.
Wow.
While I was doing working my bachelor's in aeronautical engineering. So I lived in Florida until 1983. I was disappointed by the amount of racing. When I left Texas going to Daytona Beach, I thought I was going to the racing center of the world. I thought it'd be motocross racing all over the place, but really there wasn't. The tracks were like an hour away from Daytona Beach, so I didn't get to race as much as I was hoping to. And when I graduated in '83 and I came to the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee for a visit, and it ended up being an immediate fall in love with the mountains, and this is where I want to come do my master's, you know. So I actually signed up to do my master's in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and started working immediately at the motorcycle shop, you know. So I was the service manager at the BMW Honda Husqvarna motorcycle dealer in Chattanooga, and got to be friends with all of the motorcycle, you know, people in Chattanooga that rode the Smoky Mountains, you know, and we started going to Tellico every year, Hiawassee. We started racing enduros and hare scrambles, and that was a whole new breed of off-road riders. You know, I had to learn to ride single track in red clay rocks and roots and things that I had never been exposed to in Texas or Puerto Rico, and they broke me in.
From all that, we are standing here. Where in Alabama are we?
We are in Little River Canyon, next to Fort Payne, Alabama. This is the known as the Little River Canyon National Preserve. It's now a 15,000 acre federal preserve. Half of it is paved, half of it is unpaved with wildlife management service roads. And I like to think of it as a little piece of heaven.
And you have this creek. Talk to me about this creek running through the back of the property here. What's going on back here?
So we were lucky to find this piece of property in 2015. It's a 40-acre piece of property that's surrounded by Straight Creek and then Yellow Creek. Yellow Creek flows around the property into some waterfalls right here. Yellow Creek waterfalls. We can hear them from right here, which then flows right into Little River above the giant Little River Falls. So we have this adventure camp. It's mainly all open space. We welcome all kind of adventure motorcycle riders, and we have a pristine creek that we can kayak, swim, get water out of between rides. So
let's talk about Destination Yamaha. When I discovered this whole thing through your Facebook page, I was just searching Yamaha dealerships and Alabama and dual sport, and your page came up, and I started looking at this Destination Yamaha. I didn't know if it was real or not. I actually sent your page and information to my buddies at corporate to vet it, and they're like, oh yeah, this is real, and it's actually a part of this much bigger deal. Mm-hmm. But tell me, for Destination Yamaha in Alabama, and this is the only facility in Alabama, what does that mean? You have an XT250 here and this Tenere 700, but why are these bikes here? What's going on here?
Well, we are very, very fortunate to have partnered up with Yamaha. Yamaha, to my knowledge, is the only one of the big four Japanese manufacturers that has a rental program. So basically, Destination Yamaha started in Europe, where they were renting adventure motorcycles. They brought the program over to the United States, mainly in the West Coast, where they were renting snowmobiles and ATVs and side-by-side. And as the program matured, they saw the opportunity to add motorcycles, and my understanding is like a year and a half ago, they added the motorcycle division to the Destination Yamaha program. I had been looking into the Yamaha Corporation first from an e-bike perspective, which led me to discover the Destination Yamaha program. I made an approach. They immediately followed up and made me aware that they had been looking for someone in Alabama. They had no one in Alabama. So again, we are the first and only Destination Yamaha location in Alabama. We can purchase and rent any of Yamaha's motorsports products, so we're not limited to motorcycle, even though that's the line of product that we have chosen to start out with, but anything from ATVs, watercrafts, generators, motorcycles, it's all included in the Destination Yamaha program. But
right now at your facility, I saw one of these and four of these. What does that mean? Like, these aren't for you.
No, so we have bikes for rent. So we have brand new 2021 Yamaha dual sport and adventure motorcycles that people can rent and ride them anywhere they want to. We suggest that they learn the beauty of the canyon. We have 26 miles of unpaved roads they can explore in both of these motorcycles. We have hundreds of miles of paved roads around the canyon.
And we have this book. Talk to me about this book. I mean, this kind of goes hand in hand with what you have going on here, right?
Yeah, we also fortunate enough to have become friends with David Haynes, and David Haynes is the author of the Motorcycling Alabama book. He wrote this book riding a BMW Dakar 650 GS and 50,000 miles of documented trails in the state of Alabama. and he is one of the senior guides that is now available to help our clients, learn about all of the great roads that are in the area. And he has years of knowledge of all of the roads in the area. He took us up a Civil War trail, 2 weeks ago here in North Georgia that we didn't even know was there. So it's amazing what all there is to be discovered, and we're lucky to have David in our team. He just recently moved to Mentone, Alabama, which is like 15 minutes away from here. So he's one of our neighbors and part of our team here now. So look forward to many rides with David.
Nice. What year did you officially start Destination Yamaha Alabama?
So we became a Destination Yamaha partner in September of 2020. We have spent the last few months getting ready for an official start in March of 2021. So here we are 2 or 3 weeks away from our official grand opening open house to kick off the adventure company and to kick off the 2021 season. So we have, like you said, we have 4 XT250s, we have one Tenere 700, we have another one on the way, a black one. We also have electric powered bicycles, electric assist bicycles that we offer as part of our adventure offerings in the areas.
Are there some really good mountain bike trail, like is there really good trails around here particularly for e-bikes?
Right now we're partnering with the Rangers, and they want to help us promote the unpaved side of the canyon. So it is where we can do guided bicycle tours into the forest roads. We also go into the paved side of the canyon because there's some back roads that we can take from here to that road without getting in any BC roads, and then we can go to the overlooks and on the bicycles. And so if you have any hills, you just turn the throttle a little bit. It helps you power, and you get there and back without being completely exhausted. So
nice.
We found some bald eagles, a pair of bald eagles, as the first time we took the bicycles in that direction to the canyon, and it was amazing. It's one of the members of the group Alabama has an estate, and we rode around the estate, and there were the bald eagles. So Randy Owens' estate.
Nice. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot to be seen in this neck of the woods. Mm-hmm.
This part of the woods is famous, especially for motorcyclists. There is the Trail of Tears, and the Trail of Tears is where they corralled and guided all of the Indians, from east to west. And there's not just one Trail of Tears. There were several different routes, but one of the main prominent routes came right through here. It crossed Little River right where the bridge is. They created the Fort Payne was a fort to gather the Trail of Tears Indians. It was like 1,100 and something Indians that stayed in this fort in Fort Payne before they continued their journey west. And so every year there's a giant motorcycle ride called the Trail of Tears motorcycle rides. It's a fundraiser, and it comes through here. So we're lucky to be on the map for that ride, and people throughout the year come to explore the Trail of Tears ride.
So people can find you through the Yamaha Destination website. I noticed you're also on Facebook. Is there any other particular place?
Yeah, we have our own official website. It's called littleriver.us, and that's where you can find all of our information on our rentals, our events, that are coming up. You want to learn about, our guides, our hosts, and what other services we have available here. We do rent campsites, we rent picnic sites, we rent legacy bicycles, electric bicycles, and all of the Yamaha adventure bikes.
So that information is all on that particular website.
Yeah.
All right.
Littleriver.us.
All right, cool. We'll link that in here, and we'll put it in the description below. And then I guess the last question, there'll be more questions through the day, but we'll actually be on the bikes. But my last question is here. Should we do a TDUB meet here at your facility? Like, should we put a meet together and have all the TDUB guys come out?
I can't think of a better place to have one at. I have been up and down the East Coast riding, and for that particular motorcycle, we have some very interesting terrain. We have places where they can do a little bit of swamping, cross some mud holes. We have some sand washes where they can really put those big fat tires to the test in the deep sand. We have some river fords, in the right times of the year. We can certainly cross the little river. And that's just on this side. just half of the canyon. On the other side, we can ride to all the waterfalls, all of the overlooks. We can go down to historic Fort Payne and see some good food. There's historic cabins downtown. There's an antique church right here before we get to the trailhead. So there's all kind of things that we could do for a TDUB meeting. I look forward to maybe getting some musicians to come play at camp, maybe have a good caterer that can come out here and cook some food with us. So I can't think of a better place to have one, and I look forward to hosting your group.
All right, you heard it right here. All right, cool, thank you.